So I just graduated college last week and got an insane full-time job working out in Mallorca, Spain, creating weekly recaps for 5 nightclubs out there. I got a pretty good monthly salary, housing is covered, and I'm definitely taking you guys along for the ride. Anyway, today I want to talk about how this opportunity came around, offer some takeaways that you guys can apply to getting your own gigs, and show you what deliverables might look like for a job of this caliber. Getting a job like this has been my goal ever since I first picked up a camera back in 2016. I had always written down that I want to tour across the world with different artists, bands, or DJs. And I might not be there just yet, but I have a really good feeling that this is a great step in the right direction to connecting with a bunch of high-profile artists and DJs. Now, if you're like me and looking for a job very similar to the one I'm talking about, let me save you an immense amount of time and tell you exactly what 2 things you're going to need no matter what. First off, you're going to need a portfolio, which is usually a website that's going to showcase your work on a project-by-project basis. Secondly, you're going to need a show reel. This is basically a 1 to 2 minute video showcasing all of your best shots from the projects featured on your website. Now, those 2 may seem very similar, but they each have their own purpose. For example, if you meet somebody and they only have 1 to 2 minutes and you need to impress them, definitely showcase your reel. On the other hand, if you're trying to work at a festival and or for an artist and there's multiple candidates, definitely show your website, because at that point they can see all of your projects on a project-by-project basis. And it's a great move to have both of these, because usually after anybody sees your reel and they're now intrigued, they're gonna ask to check out your website. And if that sounds like a lot of work and or it's kind of confusing, I totally understand how you feel. I was in the same shoes about 5 years ago when I first started. Knowing this, I've now made 2 detailed videos answering every question you'll have. This one's about all the different types of portfolios, what that portfolio should look like, and what website you should use to host yours. Check that right here. And secondly, this video where I break down my own concert/nightlife show reel from start to finish, showing you what a professional one should look like, as well as how to create your own starting completely from scratch. That video I'll link right here too. But now we got to talk about connections, and this is the realest thing that anybody in the photo/video concert nightlife space will ever tell you about this industry. Unfortunately, it's all about who you know. So many opportunities are going to come down to just knowing the right people, just like this opportunity out in Spain for me. That being said, you have to be making friends and connections everywhere you go, especially when you have your camera in your hand. Because the reality of it is 9 times out of 10, it just comes down to being at the right place at the right time. Simply put, that just means in order to increase your odds, you just gotta be at the right place more often, meaning shoot more clubs, concerts, festivals, anything nightlife related, even if it's free. Because that means every time you show up, you're just gonna get better and better, and eventually people will start to recognize you as the guy or girl with the camera. And being known as that is insanely helpful. It's what helped me get a lot of my success super early on, and it's gonna get you to know the right people and get them to know you. When an opportunity comes around, anything revolving a camera, they'll be thinking of you right away. That whole segment right there, I can't express how important it is, because take it from me, there's been a handful of times where I thought my videos were way better than some of my competition, but they just knew the right people and I didn't end up getting the job. And that's just how it is sometimes, but everyone will get their time to shine when the time is right. So you just got to keep that in mind. Speaking of which, when I finally got my time to shine and this opportunity came along, I utilized both my portfolio and my show reel to get the job. The exact 2 things that I've been talking about in this video. And that should really show that I'm only talking about things that have really worked for me and people that I work with. It actually all started with a good friend of mine named Samil, who's an MC and bartender at one of the most popular clubs back home on the island of Aruba. Last year, he actually ended up working at some of those nightclubs out in Spain. And this year, they happened to be looking for a video guy, so he thought of me right away. That same day they made the post, he sent me their contact info and I got in touch with them right away. And this only happened because over the years, Samil has known me as the video guy, the guy with the camera. Over the past several years, him and I have talked about cameras that might be good for his vlogs or for his future endeavors. We talked about videos, we talked about ideas, and we've also worked on several projects together. He basically knew that I would crush the opportunity, so I checked out their Instagram, filled out the job application, information and I sent them my reel using this crazy effective email template right here, which I also talk about more in this video. They got the email, they loved the video, we hopped on a call a few days later and we discussed everything along the lines of availability, what deliverables might look like, and of course salary. Not too long after that, we came to an agreement and I got the job. And this 100% would have never happened if I didn't know Samil. How in the world am I supposed to find out about a job all the way in Spain when I'm in Conway, South Carolina in college? So I'm of course incredibly grateful for that, and there's no way I would have gotten the job if I wasn't prepared with my portfolio and the reel like I've been discussing throughout this video. Actually, one of my favorite quotes sums up this entire video perfectly. I'm gonna pop that up on the screen right now. All right, so I'm assuming if you're still watching this video, you want a job kind of similar to this. So let's talk about what deliverables look like, because I know I had a lot of questions about this when I first started. Would it be way too much? Could I even handle that? We're gonna discuss all that. So in this case, it's actually a lot. I'll be the head of digital content for 5 nightclubs, creating approximately 9 to 10 to 15 second vertical videos per week, and then 15, 25 to 30 second horizontal recaps over the span of 4 months, and then a couple extra short form and long form reels that don't really fit the weekly turnaround time. So there's gonna be vertical and horizontal content. How I'm gonna tackle that exactly, I'm not sure, but they're gonna live on websites, social media platforms, and yeah, I need to have both. I basically came up for the number of my salary by taking into consideration how many short form videos I'm gonna do, putting a number that, and amount of long form, and also putting a separate but higher number on that too. And making sure to include flights, insurance, and all that stuff. And while we're on the note of contracts and things you should include in them, here are some of my takeaways for you guys. Just because I'm traveling across the country, I want to make sure that I have a room to myself to keep my gear safe and that I had good Wi-Fi to do the job properly. Another great thing that I didn't really know about at the start is including how many revisions are allowed per video. I usually have a statement like this in my contracts. I totally understand that that statement isn't perfect by any means, but it's definitely better for a beginner to include something like that than ending up on revision 27. I've been there, it's the worst. Please include this. All right, so now we get to talk about payment, and I can't exactly discuss what I was being paid, but I am going to mention an example of a friend who was recently on tour with a very popular artist who we've definitely heard all of their songs before and has about like 200K plus on Instagram. So this is what my friend had to say about tour regarding payments, and it should give you a pretty good idea and goal to work towards. He was on tour for 2 weeks, did about 7 shows at $700 per show, turning around the video the next day, if not the following day, and then would get paid $200 per travel day. He also mentioned that he knows friends that are on tour doing a show for about $150 and friends that are doing each show for $1,500. I didn't even really think about this part, but the longer the tour is, the less you're gonna get paid per show. But it obviously all varies on the length of the tour, the caliber of artists you're working with, and the entire budget for the tour. I don't know about you guys, but as someone who's never really been on tour before and really wants to, that gave me a great ballpark number of something to work towards and what I should charge in the future. Anyway, let's talk about how we can get our hands on these opportunities. So if any of that interests you, definitely check out the Discord and the link in the description, because I created a community for photographers and videographers in the music industry space where you can connect with like-minded, passionate, hardworking individuals in case there aren't any around you. And there's a lot of great things to talk about there, but I also post a bunch of job listings that I can take on myself. Or if you're a go-getter and you want to go get your own jobs as soon as possible, then check the top link in my description where I have a complete guide showing you the best ways to go and get your first gig. So for now, you just got to keep grinding it out and getting better with every single video, and I promise you with due time, the right opportunity will come around. And with that being said, I gotta mention that I am super amped for this opportunity out in Spain. I mean, I'm gonna be creating professional nightlife content every single day while I'm out there. And I have no reason to be stopping YouTube anytime soon. It's been going super well and I've really been enjoying it. So if you got any great ideas for me to do while I'm out there, definitely drop them down in the comments below. And if you thought this informational video was super helpful, I also have more technical videos in this series right here where I break down my editing process from the ground up in 14 episodes. Thank you so much for watching, ladies and gentlemen. And as always, if you have any questions, feel free to drop them down in the comments or shoot me a DM on Instagram. I answer every single DM. Otherwise, I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.